All right, so let's cut right to the chase. We're talking about running if you're over 40 years old and your knees just don't like that kind of stuff no more. But you still need to be able to do it. So when I was younger, I've never been the type to actually like running. I did run cross country in middle school, but I mean, back then I was like 130 something pounds or something. So nowadays, I've been on average for the past couple years in the 224, 225 range, but I want to get down to about 215, 210. I did start a new regimen recently, in the past week rather, where I fast from 6 in the morning until 6 p.m. And what that did for me is, again, I like to eat, so snacks and all that kind of stuff throughout the day. So what that did was cut out the snacks. Now my fast is no solid foods. So what I'll do is that I'll make a little milkshake. So I'll use a banana. I use some of that TB12 protein powder. I put about 2 tablespoons of that in there. I put some spinach, and I can use either pea milk, almond milk. I use pretty much everything. Pea milk, almond milk, regular whole milk, and I'll blend that up, and I'll have that during the day about midday, and that'll carry me over until 6 p.m. Now I stay pretty active during the day, so like on average I'm getting my 10,000 steps without even just doing my daily activities. I recently started the 20K a day challenge on Embody Pursuit. So if you know about that, check it out, hashtag Embody Pursuit. But what I'm doing now is I also started running. And with my running, I've been doing 3 miles. And again, I used to always have this mantra in my head that when I start a run, I don't stop. I run the entire way. In my mind, if I stopped and walked, that was quitting. That's as bad as freaking failing to run. And that served me well for quite a few years. But as you get older, things happen. So on May 30th, I decided at night to just get up off the couch and say, you know what, I'm gonna go for a 3-mile run. And I did good for the first 2.5 miles. But that last half mile, my left leg freaking locked right up, my left calf. So at that point, I had to do a little walk for a minute. So what I did is I did 30 steps. So every time my left foot hit the ground, that was 1 pace. So I did 30 paces of walking and 30 paces of running. And I did that for that remaining half mile. So that was a little bit of an adventure, but I did finish it. And my time on May 30th was 31 minutes and 36 seconds. All right. So at that point, I had to make some adjustments. Now, I like coffee as well too. That's one of my go-to things. I'm that guy that has like a coffee cup in the car every time I'm riding, so I just be sipping. So what I had was a Yeti 20-ounce coffee mug. And that's just, I would have about 2 of those in a day. And that's just way too much caffeine to also be, active with like running and stuff like that. But you don't realize that kind of stuff until you actually get out there and get physical and start sweating, and then you realize how dehydrated you actually are. All right. So what I did is I got me a little sippy cup. I got a new Yeti, and it's only a 10-ounce. So that 10 ounce was perfect, because now I can still have my little sippy cup in the car when I'm riding. So I still have that mental of like, I got my cup with me and I'm sipping. So I have that, but I'm not drinking 20 ounces at a time. So that's perfect. Now, if I have 2 of those in a day, that's only 20 ounces. So I really cut my caffeine intake in half, which is excellent. So I did that, and I started hydrating like crazy. So now I started the day, every morning, I start off with 6 cups of water just to get started. And really, if you're gonna run, you need to really hydrate the night before. Back when I was in the Army, they used to have us get our canteens, fill them up, and then we do total line. So everybody just lines up in the barracks and freaking chugs the whole canteen. And then when you're done, you hold it over your head so that they know it's empty. But we did that to avoid, a lot of these heat injuries. There is some truth to that. So you need to hydrate the night before, ideally, in order to be able to sustain yourself during heat the following day. All right. Another thing I do is I started adding 1/8 teaspoon of raw salt, like kosher salt. All right. You need real salt. It can't be like that table salt stuff. And I add that to my water. And what that does, that allows your body to actually absorb those fluids. If you don't have the proper salt levels in your body, you'll be drinking water, but you just be pissing it out. So it's not doing anything for you. It's not doing what's intended. All right. So you need to have your body not only take the water in, but also to retain it. So I did that. I bought a calf stretcher. Matter of fact, I'll put a link to the calf stretcher that I got in the description. Now, I don't have any affiliate links set up yet. I'll get those set up at some point, but I'm just going to share the information of what I've been using in order to stretch my calf out, because when my calf locked up on May 30th, it stayed locked, like kind of tight. Not like locked up, but it was tight and uncomfortable, where I didn't really feel like running again, and stayed that way for about 3 days. And during that 3 days, I was straight pounding water and stretching it. All right. So you want to avoid that by all means. So second run was June 6th. June 6th, I did the same 3 miles. This time I did a nice stretch beforehand. I was well hydrated, and I still got a cramp a little bit towards the end, but it wasn't as bad. And I did that one in 31 minutes and 22 seconds. All right, so I knocked off 14 seconds. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you run, you know that 14 seconds is a nice shave down, and that's a lot of pain and a lot of pushing to shave that off. So I was happy about that. Now, just recently, as of yesterday, I did another run, 3 miles. All right, now this time I've been pounding my water. My coffee intake has been down. It's been 32 days since that May 30th run, and I'm really locking in. And then on top of that, I'm doing my 06 to 1800 fast every day. So no solid foods, just my banana protein shake, and that's it. All right. And my run yesterday was 30 minutes and 31 seconds. So I've shaved off a whole minute and 5 seconds in 32 days. And I haven't been running every day. That's only 3 events. All right. May 30th, June 6th, and July 1st. But what I've been doing is the in-between stuff. I've been hitting the gym, and I'm one of the guys that never worked legs. I just figured that, the things I did during the day was enough. I was in the infantry. We walked everywhere. I'm always walking the dog, out doing stuff out in the yard, cutting the grass. So I figured, you know what? I'm walking around and getting around. I don't need to do legs. But now I started doing legs. Just from wear and tear. Like my left knee, for example, the cartilage is like crumbling inside. I haven't gotten operated on. I don't want to do that because once you get operated once, you got to go back. Your body loses that ability to kind of self-heal and mitigate itself. So I'm trying to focus on that, fix that by dieting, cutting weight, and exercising in a smart way. All right. And what you can do too, if you have bad knees, one thing you can do is you want to strengthen the muscles around the knee, above and below. So doing those leg exercises and getting those leg muscles stronger is going to help absorb some of that tension from that knee. So you want to focus on that as well too. All right. So July 1st, 30 minutes, 31 seconds, 3 miles. And I felt good afterwards. And it's one of them things where you want to be the type where you can get up off the couch and run 3 miles if you need to. And you also want to be able to fight when you get to the end of that 3 miles. You don't want to get there and be spent and you're freaking laying on the ground. Now you're useless. If you're running into a situation and you can't freaking even control your breath enough to take a good shot, what good is that? All right. So what I've been doing though is that I changed my mantra from when I was younger. I no longer do, I got to run the entire ways. I pace myself. And one of the reasons why I do that now is that when you're moving, if you have to move over a long distance, you're probably going to be carrying a bag with you. other equipment and stuff. You need to be able to get from point A to point B in a fast and expeditious manner, but you're not going to run the entire way. You're probably going to have to stop. There may be times where you may have to stop and hide, stop and listen. All right, so what I do is I do intervals. Every time my left foot hits the ground, that's 1 pace. So I do 30 paces of running, 30 paces of walking, 30 paces of running, 30 paces of walking. So I do that the entire way, so until I get to the end of the 3 miles. And what that does is that allows me to pace myself, control my breathing, use the terrain to my advantage. If I'm running downhill, I'll run till the hill flattens out. That way I'm leveraging that downhill momentum and just lean back, let your arms just flow, let your legs just move and just get there. All right. And then when you get to the flat area, go ahead and take your 30 paces of walking and rest. And then once you get to an uphill section, that's when you can kind of, lean forward, get your little jog on, or get your power walk on uphill, and then coast on downhill. So I'm using the terrain to my advantage to help me get to the end of that run. And that's how you got to do in real life. In real life, if you got to get from point A to point B, you are going to be moving in a manner that's consistent with the terrain. You don't know what kind of security concerns may be going on around you. So you're going to be reacting to that as well. So that is my technique. I want you all to give it a shot.
Police reported ahead.
Thank you for the update. I want you all to give it a shot. And the key is to get out there and get from point A to point B. Move this whole self from point A to point B. And if you can accomplish that, you're golden. All right? And trust me, if you focus on doing that, getting your little runs in, you'll hit 10,000 steps in a day, no problem. And next thing you know, you'll be hitting 20 and not even realizing, oh wow, like I'm at 18,000 and it's 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Might as well bang out another 2,000 steps and you're good to go. All right? So get out there, get moving, stay active, and remember, 40 ain't nothing but a number. You can get out there and keep pushing and make it happen and stop blowing your old self out the water, no problem. All right? Kilo 25 out.